Hello everybody. Welcome to my 2018 year in review. It is straight up December 30th right now. We have a day or two left of the year, and I thought it would be a nice idea to look back through everything that happened over the year, because I feel like a lot happened. I thought about this video and I figured one way I could review my year is to go onto my phone, kind of scroll through all the photos in my phone, and that's kind of like my journal, you know? That's how I keep track of everything. I was like, oh, back in March I was doing this thing, which I might not have remembered. So I kind of went through and I wanted to point out a few highlights and whatnot. Also throw out a couple stats for you guys. I tried counting as far as my work, my photography, video stuff. I think I did somewhere around 117 different various photography and video projects, which I feel like is a lot. I don't know if that's a lot, but I'm very pleased with that, and I'm going to keep on doing that because that is my main source of income. And then as far as shows, I don't have a definitive number, but I'm guessing somewhere around 42 or so shows that we've done with the Palatines, and probably another couple dozen with Noble Insect. So a lot of shows done this year, a lot of events, lots of good stuff. Starting with some of the highlights that I could think of, and 2018 definitely started out with a bang, I think, because already in January, the Palatines got to open up for the Lillingtons at Cine El Rey. They're like one of my all-time favorite bands, so that was like mind-blowing that we got to play for them. It was a really awesome show, so that was rad. Right out of the gate, opening for Lillingtons, and this was like an action-packed weekend because the next day after that show, the Palatines, we drove up to San Antonio. We played a really awesome show there. Also, on a side note, my parents flew out and they actually hung out with us that weekend. So I got to see my parents, open up for Lillingtons, played San Antonio, and then the next day after that, we played in Austin, which I believe was the very first time that the Palatines ever played in Austin. All the shows were awesome. I met some new friends that weekend too. So all around, super duper start for 2018. Then moving on to February was also another big month for the Palatines. That was the month that we put out our debut full-length album, Death from Below. We put a lot of work into that album. I mean, we had been working all through 2017 getting this album ready. In January is when we filmed the Mina Doesn't Know music video. But everything, we put it all out in February. That kicked off kind of everything that we were working towards for 2018, because we're going to spend 2018 supporting Death from Below. And that show that we had was just such an amazing show there at Yabadia. Now, granted, our performance was... It was pretty funny. We got really excited. We were having such a good time that night that, we drank a lot. And our performance did suffer a bit because of it. Javi did accidentally break my floor tom, but shit happens, and it was still a really fun show. Moving on in March, so just the next month, another badass show. Also at Cine El Rey, Palatines and Noble Insect got to open up for Teenage Bottle Rockets, one of my all-time favorite bands. Like, that was so cool. So early in the year, we already opened for Lillingtons and Teenage Bottle Rockets. So that was freaking rad. Moving into April, though, that was the first tour for Palatines. We kind of made that tour around the annual Yuck Fest little festival that they have in Del Rio in Texas. Always a super fun little festival. I was at it last year. And then once we passed through Del Rio, we made it to El Paso. We went, one of my notes here, we went to Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, a few places I'd never been. I'd never been to Denver or anything like that. So that was a well-rounded, quick little tour and very successful as tours goes. So we're not even halfway through the year yet. Everything's looking great, and it pretty much stays that way. I mean, in June, that's my birthday, June 8th. Javi gave me this tattoo, so that's something that happened in June. And I'm going to fast forward a little bit later because I think the biggest highlight, the biggest thing that I think happened in 2018 was in October. That was the second tour that the Palatines went on. And we did this tour around Fest. That's Fest 17. That's in Gainesville, Florida. And to be honest, this is I think like one of the biggest music festivals around our kind of music, and it was just a crazy honor that we got to play that, and I met some amazing people, amazing bands. Like seriously, the time of my life. That weekend in Gainesville was my favorite weekend of the entire year, hands down. Finally got to meet the guys in Creeps and Crusades. Those Canadians are some seriously nice guys. That whole trip. The rest of the trip did have a few ups and downs. You know, we drove all the way up to Chicago and back, but all in all, still amazing trip. Fest was worth the whole trip alone. That's definitely the best part of the year. What else? Earlier today, when I had thought about making this video, and I figured that I could just go through my photo library, do some highlights, and it seemed like a really simple idea to put together this video. And then when I started going through all the photos, I realized how much had happened this year. All good stuff too, like all super fun, positive things. And I was like, man, I don't know how I could just put together a couple little highlights. So here at the end of the video, I figured I'll just put on like a long slideshow of just a bunch of random photos throughout the year to help sum things up. But I just want to also say in summary that every year that I have lived here in the Valley, it's going on about 3.5 years now, every year has been like the best year of my life, to be honest. And every year it gets better and better. So there's just some really awesome people here. I have some really great friends that make it worthwhile being here. So I want to thank all of you guys for, being with me and making everything so awesome. Now, looking forward into 2019, I don't necessarily have any New Year's resolutions. I'm not really into that because I just figure if you want to do something, if you put your mind towards a certain goal, then just do it. Why wait for New Year's or whatnot? But if I did have like a New Year's resolution, maybe be a little bit more, maybe exercise a little bit more and be a little bit more healthy. That's something I could do. And then I think the main thing I want to focus on is doing more videos. I'm sure you guys have seen I put out a small handful of videos lately, but I want to do more of them like this, push a little bit more into YouTube and just kind of focus on that kind of stuff moving forward into 2019. I mean, I can't wait to see what 2019 has in store for me because like I said, every year is getting better and better and better. So I guess with that said, enjoy the slideshow, the photos. I really appreciate you guys watching this video and sticking around. And I hope you have a happy new year. Cheers. Take care.